Okay, I was up here about 3 years ago, and it was the middle of the night, about 2:30 a.m. I was sound asleep, and I woke up and I could hear vehicles coming. And the entrance road, you can hear them coming quite a ways. So I woke up and looked out the window, and I could see headlights coming up the road. And so I'm like, wow, wow, and it's Saturday night and middle of the night. And anyway, so I got up, like, luckily here you get a warning that you got visitors coming. And so I got up, got dressed, and turned the lights on so that they would know that somebody was staffing the lookout. And the first couple of vehicles got to the corner down here where they could see up to the lookout, saw the light, stopped down there, and waited for a little while. A couple more vehicles caught up. They were kind of spread out because of all the dust for quite a ways down the road.
Sure.
Anyway, they obviously saw the lights and stopped and left. But then a couple more vehicles came up and piled in behind them. And so they came on up and kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And they came on up the road, and then they turned off down here. Instead of coming on up to the lookout, they turned up and went out by the helispot. And there was at least 10 UTVs, and they circled up right around the helispot there with all of their headlights shining in toward each other, like circling the wagons. And my lights are on, and I'm standing here looking out the window and wondering what the heck is going on. And, this is obviously the biggest crowd I've ever seen, and it's in the middle of the night. And I wasn't sure what to do. And, I'm like, well, can I call this in? If I call and need help, it's like 5 hours away.
Oh.
So I might as well not even call,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just like, well, wow, this is weird, but my lights are on. And then one guy, he comes bailing off. He doesn't come up the road, but he drives like through the clear cut. He gets high centered on a log down there and starts spinning his tires, and everybody's laughing and yelling at him. He gets off the log and comes up here onto the road, drives on up here around the circle, stops with his headlights shining on my pickup down here like he's looking at my license plates or something. And then he drives on back down to his buddies. Never came up the tower, never said anything, never, and I was, at that time, I was standing out on the catwalk with my headlight on, so I knew I was out there. And he went back down to his buddies. And they had a bunch of music blaring. There were UTVs with the big overhead lights and everything. So it's just, light is all over out there. There's just tons of light, all circled up out there. Well, he goes back down, and I hear a bunch of laughing, and obviously they've been booze cruising for 10 hours probably, and they're having a good time. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Well, then the gunshots start, and they pull out a couple AR-15s and start cranking off 30-round mags. And immediately my lights go off, and I hit the deck.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, what do I do if I hear rounds start hitting the lookout? I have no clue what they're shooting at. It's the middle of the freaking black night. And so I'm laying on the floor behind the radio cabinet right here, thinking that's not going to slow down anything. And I'm like, okay, if a round hits the lookout, I will just get on the radio and broadcast what is going on. And dispatch, even though there might not be anybody in dispatch, it gets recorded. So when they find my dead body in 3 days because I've missed my check-ins, they'll know what happened. And no rounds hit the lookout.
Okay.
But I'm just cowering over here behind the radio, lights off, dark, scared to death. And so it was around, I'm guessing it was 3 30-round magazines with the AR-15 and several smaller, like pistol, like 15 to 17 round, rips off a whole mag out of a 9mm or something. But, rifle and pistol shots.
Mm-hmm.
No clue what they were shooting at or which direction they were shooting or anything. And then it's like they ran out of ammo, they all piled back in, and they all went blazing back down the road.
Wow.
And they never said a word to me.